G'day, good morning. Welcome to A Down Under Yarn. This is episode 4. Today is Monday, the 21st of January 2013, and it's about 11:15 in the morning. Apologies for being a day late. I will go into that a bit later on. I am your host. I am Fiona, also known as Fifykins. I'm Fifykins almost everywhere. So if you find a social networking site and look for Fifykins, probably about 90% of the time it will be me. So please look out for me, friend me, follow me, whatever you want to do, or not. It's up to you. Let's get into it. I'd like to welcome everyone. Welcome back people who've been with me since the beginning, people who followed along the way, and welcome to new people. It still amazes me the number of people that tell me they're watching me, which, anyway, hey. Yeah, sorry. The Ravelry boards. We have a Down Under Yarn Ravelry board. Please come over and join. We're almost at 100 members, and apparently when you hit 100 members, something special happens. Not sure what yet, just saying. So come along and join in the fun. There's a podcast thread there each week. There's a general place to have a yarn. Introductions, that sort of thing, and I'll go into a bit more of that later on. The week that was, the week's been filled with job applications. I think I've written about 8 or 9 last week. And a lot of them were for jobs that I know I don't have a hope of getting, but at the same time, you never know what else the company has. So I put things out there, fixed up my LinkedIn profile, so that's all sorted. And along with that, I added some more contacts of people in the area who might have contacts. Hey, it's worth a try. I actually have an interview this evening for a part-time position, which would let me finish my thesis. So here's hoping, actually. I will keep you informed as to how that goes. Needless to say, I won't be wearing what I'm wearing at the moment. Kids have been with their dad this week, so that's been interesting. There's always dramas, and there are dramas again. It is what it is. Apart from that, I've been trying to catch up on sleep, and which is interesting. It probably leads me into the reason we're late, is that yesterday I went to an all-day seminar on paleo living. I suppose it's not a diet; it's a way of life. The paleo or caveman style of living. And I think I went in with an open mind. I'd read a couple of books. I thought it sounded good, but hearing these people speak and their experiences and things like that, it blew me away. The links between what we eat and our hormones, and I'm not talking female hormones necessarily, that sort of thing, but hormones like sleep hormones and wake hormones, it just blew me away. So I am starting the 30-day challenge on the 1st of February for the whole 9. There are 9 aspects to the paleo way of living that they went into. And they suggest starting off with a 30-day, which is a reset. So I will remove all dairy, all grain products from my diet for those 30 days. I've removed most of them already, but I'm not being as, I'm not being as diligent. So I'm probably at the moment living about 80 to 90% paleo. But this is a month where you totally reset everything. Then you go, it's like an elimination diet. So then you go back into reintroducing things. And I sometimes think, well, perhaps the pain I get in my shoulders from time to time it's just because I'm getting old. It may actually be inflammation caused by my diet. Hey, I don't know. I'm happy to give it a try. If it means that it's going to lower my blood pressure, if it means that it will help my insulin resistance, then hey, I'm all for it. So we're going to give that a go. I think we're back to get into knitting. I don't think this is going to be an overly long episode. It hasn't been a super productive week knitting-wise, I don't think. Although, yeah, it sort of has, but still. Finished objects. I can show you my secret project from last week. Look! This is Fifi, the zombie mouse. This was a test knit for Amy from the Stockinette Zombies. Now, I don't know if I have words to express, sorry I dropped it, how gorgeous she is. I test knit this using Regia socked yarn held double on 3mm needles. So it is a hand paint effect yarn, which you can tell because, for instance, the legs, it's a lot more prominent on camera. You can see they're a bit different. You can't actually tell in real life, I suppose. You can tell a little bit. On camera you can probably also see how crap I am at sewing on these. I really suck at that. So yeah, she has gorgeous ears, the most beautiful mouth. It's just part of the design. I think you can probably see there, although you can ignore some of my stitches. There was one that went a bit haywire. Absolutely amazing. The skirt, which is like a little ballet skirt, a little frilly skirt, was knit out of sugar. Where are we? I think I had some lying around. Here we are. Just from Spotlight, sugar 4-ply in a coral pink colour. 100% Australian wool. So it's a baby yarn. I probably wouldn't use it for a baby yarn. It's not that soft. But still, it's gorgeous. Now, this is part of kits that will be up for sale on Thursday the 24th, from Knitting's My Bag. Now, I'll put all links in the show notes, don't need to worry about that, but Lois from Knitting's My Bag has kits available. Now, the kits will contain yarn that's been dyed to make the project, and also Megan's project, which is, it's gorgeous. You have to watch their podcast last week to see her project. The Stockinette Zombie podcast from last week. It's amazing. And it's, again, something I will no doubt knit at some stage. But if you go to Knitting's My Bag it's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, US time, which is midnight my time, 1 a.m. down south, 12:30 for Adelaide, 11:30 for Darwin, and that makes it midnight, 10 o'clock WA. Because we have so many time zones here, you can pre-order a kit. Now, I would not hesitate because the look of the yarn that's up there, knowing the pattern, it is perfect. It is just going to be just gorgeous. So, you can do that. Otherwise, this pattern will be released, I think, in April. Oh, I meant to show you the tail. Now, I think I put the tail on a bit low because MIML's favourite thing is to pretend that Fifi's a boy, which is, quite juvenile, but hey, that's sometimes him. So she can actually hold her tail up there. Yeah, and she's just beautiful. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased with her. The funny thing about her is that when Imogen saw her, she said, "Oh my God, Mum, did you actually knit that?" And it's the first time she's ever said that. Now, I knit her a Panda hat, which involved ear flaps and crocheted edge and ears, and it was pretty involved, and that was when I was a brand new knitter, and she wore it to death. But it was just, yeah, Mum, knit me a hat, and I knit her a jumper for camp last year, and it was, yeah, Mum, knit me a jumper. But this is, oh my God, Mum, did you actually knit that? So hey, from a almost 15-year-old, that was pretty good. So yeah, so that's Fifi. Excuse me. I'm actually drinking Buddha's Tears this morning. It's my favourite green tea. They're little balls that you can see them unravelled now in the cup, but they come as little tiny balls. And apparently, the monks, when they meditate, they get the leaves and they literally roll them, and then just put them in a basket. So they're like $900 a kilo because they're all hand rolled. But it's the most delicate, beautiful green tea, and it's one of my favourites. So that's what I'm drinking this morning. My other finished object is a snuggle. So this is for Sadie of the Audible Podcast. I haven't actually woven in the ends, which, yeah. Sadie is promoting the Snuggles project for the months of January and February. These are for animals in pet shelters. So the pet shelter down in Innisfail, which is about an hour south of me, is looking, it says they collect snuggles. So I am planning on knitting a few of these to go down there. This one you can put them in Sadie's group, and apparently she has prizes. Now, I don't actually knit for prizes. Prizes, I suppose, are a bonus. I knit this because it's nice for the animals. But you can also nominate one other podcaster to receive this podcast prizes. So I nominated Heather from Highland Handmaids for this one. I think Heather had a pretty crappy day, and I think she deserved my first snuggle. So she got my first snuggle. It is knit out of Panda Magnum 8-ply. Now, my mother, bless her cotton socks, decided that I was a knitter, so therefore she'd get me yarn for my birthday last year. And she gave me 5 balls of Panda 8-ply in 5 different colours. So this is 100% imitation wool, 100% acrylic, 310 metres. I used the pink and the purple held together. The one good thing about it is that, if you can see there, it helps save the children. So not only am I saving the animals, I'm saving the children at the same time by knitting with this. Look, I don't know if I used half a ball for each of them. For this one, half a ball of each of them for the snuggle. I have 3 other colours. Bottle green, bright red, which of course comes across as orange, and a burgundy. So I'm thinking I'll probably do a burgundy and pink one, and a red and purple, and a red and green, or something like that, and see how I go with them, see how many I get to make. I use Grandma's favourite dishcloth pattern, which basically you cast on 4 stitches, thereabouts. I think it's 4 stitches, knit a row, then knit 2, yarn over, knit to the end, do the same until you get to the middle, then you knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, keep going, and again until you get down to 4 stitches where you basically then bind off. Look, it's a great pattern. It's my first ever knitting pattern that I did. I made a dishcloth with it, and I really enjoyed it. It was super quick. I used my Addy long lace needles, click needles, the 8mm US 11s. It's wanting to cast on already. It's wrapping itself around the needles, which meant it was super quick. These are beautiful needles to knit with. I really love them. They aren't too pointy, but they're pointy enough to knit 2 together and to lift stitches over and things like that, which I think is important. So that was that one. Really only took me a few hours. I'm planning on doing a couple more this week. I've promised one for Katie of Knit and Apply, and I've also promised one to Dawn from Wolf Farms. So they will definitely get them. If I knit any more, whoever wants one can have one. So first in, best dressed. Yeah, so there we go. I encourage you to look at the project. You can knit, you can crochet, you can use fabric. I still haven't made up the fabric one from the fabric I bought last week, but that will happen this week as well. Okay, on to works in progress. Oh, MIML socks. If you remember, it was his birthday last October, and he got given a hank of yarn in the Malabrigo sock wool in the player colourway, which you can see part of that there. It is stunning colours. Now, knitters, when you meet a potential love interest, can I advise you look at the size of their feet? If their feet are really big, think long and hard how special this person is. MIML has a foot-long foot. Basically, it's exactly 12 inches. And you know what it means when you've got big feet? Men have got big feet. Yeah, it means you've got to knit a lot of sock. So, it seems like it's been going on forever. You remember last week, there we are, I'm partway, I can't work out which way is which, partway down the foot. The only really, really good news is, this is the second sock. I actually finished the first sock, so I was probably back for less than that last week. So you can see how long it is. Like I say, there we go. It goes from about my elbow to my wrist. It's a bloody long foot. Oh, I'm sorry. It is the Simple Skype Sock Pattern by Adrienne Koo. I'm knitting it on 2.5mm needles, US 1.5s. The pattern actually calls for a sport weight, and I'm using the Malabriga, which is classed as light fingering, knitting the large size, which is 72 stitches. It's a free pattern, so I'm not giving anything away. And it really has this gorgeous detail down there where you can see the slipped stitches. They're slipped and passed over, and it really is a great thing. It's just pretty boring. For some reason, I found the cuff of the first sock so boring that I do a few rows and then put it aside. I cast this off on Thursday morning and immediately cast on it. I have this thing, as soon as I cast off, as soon as I Kitchener, I cast on the next sock, because I know that if I don't, something else will find its way onto the needle. It will fly on there by mistake. So I cast on immediately. Now, you can see here. Now, these aren't very long cuffs either, because MIML doesn't like long cuff socks. The pattern, I think, calls for 24 or 22 repeats. This is actually 20 repeats down there. So it's not actually that much less than what the pattern calls for. I'm going to have plenty of yarn left over. I suppose if I was knitting these again, I'd possibly knit them a bit longer. I definitely would leave out the purl ridge. There's this weird purl ridge you do after knitting the cuff. And I'm not sure why. I think it actually detracts from it quite significantly. So I definitely leave that out. It is a fantastic pattern, especially for people whose foot you may not know the size of. I mean, it looks quite narrow there. I've got really wide feet, really chunky ankles, chunky feet. You can see how much it stretches because of the ribbing pattern. So again, it is a really good pattern to knit for someone who you don't know. It's a masculine pattern, but if you did it in pink yarn, it could also be quite a feminine pattern as well. So this I actually hope to finish today. I'm really looking forward to finishing it so that I'm then able to cast on some stripy socks for the Stockinette Zombies stripy socks. I cast on the cuff on Thursday, and I know I knit one round. There was something that happened on Thursday. What was it? Oh, I had an appointment, that's all. So I went off to that and came back, and Thursday night I think I got to the end of the ribbing. So Friday, that's right, then I cast on the snuggle and knit the snuggle, half of it Thursday night, then half of it Friday morning watching the VKN. So then Friday night I probably knit an inch and a bit of the cuff. Saturday I knit the rest of the cuff, I knit the heel flap, I turned the heel, picked up all my stitches, and again I'm thrilled with the way I picked up stitches. I don't know how I did it to avoid holes. So I only picked up one in the corners. Usually I pick up two. The pattern only called for one, and I thought, there's a slight hole, but it's hardly noticeable. So I'm not even going to darn it or do anything. So I did that, and I did all the decreases, all the gusset decreases, so that yesterday when we went to our seminar, I was free to knit. So I knit for the seminar from about there to there. I think I did about 2 rounds last night. I was a bit brain dead, so I didn't really want to knit, which is one of the reasons I didn't podcast. The other reason being it was pouring with rain when we came out. It was a real tropical downpour, which was fantastic because we haven't really had one this season, but it meant it was so loud. So I don't think you would have heard very much, whereas this morning you can hear all the insects are out because of all the rain. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be overcast all week, and we're going to get quite a bit of rain. There's a monsoonal trough in the area. There was a cyclone warning for people on the west coast of the Cape. That I think has been lifted and made into a strong wind warning and a tropical storm type thing. We probably get 1 or 2 cyclone warnings a year. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I hope to finish this today, and then once this is finished, I will cast on some stripy socks. Now I'm not sure which yarn I'm going to use yet, and it's been complicated again by some more arriving in the mail. I'm also waiting for some yarn from Fibre Nymph Dye Works for the de shawl, which is a knit along with a Manzi of, I can't remember her group or her podcast. I'm sorry, it's just gone. And for some reason, I couldn't get Ravelry up before on my iPad when I was looking it up. So I will hopefully that will arrive this week. I'll be able to wind it up and cast that on as well. So I'm waiting on yarn for that. I'm pretty sure there's going to be yarn in my post office box this morning. I haven't been over to the post office yet. Yarn from the Tea and Stripes club that I'm in with Yarn vs Zombies. I've seen previews and it's blown me away. It's definitely not going to be socks. It's going to be a hat or a cow or something that will show this yarn to the world because it is stunning. Okay, I don't know what happened there. It had a bit of a break. I was frozen on the screen. So I thought, I'll just pause this and start it again. Acquisitions anyway. I'm in the Three Irish Girls Stash Menagerie Club. Now, for December, there was a different yarn base. It is a bamboo cotton worsted base. It's 50% organic cotton, 50% bamboo. Now, that to me is quite Irish. And I say that because whilst I don't mind bamboo, I know what it takes to process it, and it's not the most ecologically friendly way of producing yarn. So, that being the case though, perhaps the organic cotton outweighs that. I'm not sure. Anyway, whatever the case, this is gorgeous. When I saw it, Sharon said, from Three Irish Girls, said it was going to be a non-repeatable colourway. And I thought, it looked drapey, it looked gorgeous. And I thought about it, and this was, I think it came out towards the end of November. And as I was thinking about it, Sharon puts up, oh, and by the way, we're having a Black Friday sale, Black Friday Cyber Monday sale, and there are quite good percentages off if you order certain amounts of yarn or yarn clubs. And I went, So I just happened to have a sweater's worth fall into my cart. It's 235 yards and I think I've got 5. Now, I'm not going to knit a long sleeve sweater, and I think the whole idea behind the bamboo cotton worsted is that it will be good to breathe in the summer months or the winter months even here in our climate. So it's for our climate. As you can see, it's sort of red with speckles of pink and purple and blue through it, and it's going to be gorgeous. I'm thinking I will knit a Lady Keena with it. That is the round yoke cardigan. That's basically, it's a free pattern. It's all stockinette. You just do lots of increases on the yoke, and then you knit it straight down, have a button at the top, flows open. I think it's a sort of thing that suits my body shape in that it just falls down. It's very similar actually to the Liesl that I was wearing last week. So that will happen at some stage. The other thing that arrived is Desert Vista. Pardon me. Desert Vista Dye Works each month has colour inspirations, and for January, the inspiration was you had to submit pictures based on inspiration for Russia. This year she's travelling the world. She started with Russia. Now, I feel a bit lame after Amy Beth from the Fat Squirrel was telling us all about the gorgeous children's book that inspired her photo, which then inspired a yarn colourway, because when I thought Russia, I thought food. And I thought it's pretty boring if you have those beautiful fried breads they have. When I lived in Adelaide, at the Adelaide market, there was a Russian stand that, the most divine, deep fried bread with stuff in the middle. And I thought, yum. But that would really just be a sort of fried colourway. Then I thought, borscht. Now, I like beetroot and I like soup. And I thought, so I put a photo in of borscht, and Susan liked it. So this week I received my borscht colourway, which is, it's really actually pretty good representation. It is a self-striping. It has the beetroot purple and the parsley green and the sour cream white. Looking forward to knitting these up. I think it's a bit of fun. Of course, when she asked for inspiration for Italy, I put some more food in, but I also put in bikes and Ferraris. And I mean, I'm happy if I don't get chosen. I've still got, I inspired one of the November colourways, I think it was, which was Jacarandas Down Under. I've still got that one. I'm thinking that might be my next on the needles because it's another gorgeous purples and greens. Hey, I just like purples and greens together. Although I do have some watermelon sock yarn that I have promised Imogen some socks. Imogen is hoping to do an exchange to Japan for 3 months this year. She loves Japanese, it's her favourite subject. She went to Japan with the school 2 years ago now and fell in love with the country. I've actually never been there. It's one of the places I really would like to go. We've had some Japanese exchange students come and stay with us, homestay students for a week or so at a time, and she's got on really well with them. It's been a great experience, but she's looking at going for 3 months and going to school over there, which would be a phenomenal experience. I think we, in exchange, have to have a Japanese student here for 3 months, which would be interesting again. Anyway, if she goes, she'll be going in April, which is right in the middle of cherry blossom season. I know, how difficult would that be? But it will also be cooler than here. So I'm trying to think of what sort of things she'll need, and I think a couple of pairs of socks would probably go down well. In Japan, they don't wear shoes inside, they wear slippers, so I will see if she needs a pair of slippers knitted. I think most of the time they wear bought slippers, I'm not sure. I'd like to knit her a wrap of some description, although I don't think she'd like it, so maybe not. She has her big red jumper, so I'm probably not going to knit her another jumper because all she wants is big baggies. And I've done the big baggy one for her, so she can wear that one. She might want another hat also, so we'll see about hats. I did suggest the watermelon yarn become a watermelon hat. She just adores watermelon. Watermelon's her favourite thing in the whole wide world. And she said no, she wanted socks. Now she thinks she wants knee-high socks, but I've only got one skein, so I'm thinking of doing toe-up socks, afterthought heel, knitting the toes, weighing how much yarn I've got left to see how much took for the toe, calculating that for what I'll need for the heel with perhaps, a few grams extra, then knitting up to see how high I can get them. She's got enormous feet as well. I think they're probably about as long as Crawford's, so MIMLs. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. See what that brings. The other thing I thought I would show you, sorry, this is still in acquisitions, is I have been in an Earring of the Month club. Now this is by a silversmith down south in, I think, Sunshine Coast, called Ethereal Designs, and I got this month's lot. Now, I'm not sure how they're going to show up. Oh, that's quite good actually. So you can see they're drop earrings with like a silver ball on the end this month. So I'm planning on wearing these this afternoon to my job interview, but I thought I'd include details about the club in the show notes in case anyone else is interested. They're really nice earrings. Earrings irritate my ears anyway. I can't leave them in all the time. Even I've discovered now the surgical steel ones, for some reason, just these ones, I do have holes up here and one in there, which I haven't had earrings in for a few months now. So I probably won't be putting them in while I'm doing job interviews, but we will see how we go with that. So that's those as well. This week is the last full week of school holidays. Yay. The kids are back with me this evening. But it also means we've got to do the getting ready for school things. So school books, uniforms. Imogen goes into Year 10, which is senior uniform. So Year 10 is the third last year of high school, 10, 11, 12. I'm not sure what the equivalent is, if that's a junior or a sophomore or whatever. So she'll be going into Year 10, and they get the senior uniform, which is the long skirt and the tuck-in shirt. Now, she had to borrow a long skirt for a play they were doing at school, I think, or music something or other, and the long skirt went just sort of below her knees. So I've got a feeling we'll be having one made because she's so tall. But hey, she didn't want to do it before Christmas, so we've got to do it now, and if it's not ready, it's not ready. Apparently the senior uniform is a dress uniform, so they don't need to wear it every day. It'll be interesting. I suspect it will become something she wants to wear every day in this climate. Yeah, I think the boys who get to wear long pants for the first time in their school career, because we don't need winter uniforms up here. We need summer uniforms, and that's it. And that's, I think the kids don't understand it because they've never been anywhere else. But I knew we had summer uniform, winter uniform at school. So it will be interesting when Jasper hits year 11, year 10 at least, when he gets to wear long pants for the first time. In some ways I'm really pleased because if they were wearing long pants any earlier, apart from them getting warm all the time, the way the boys grow, Jasper would be out of them every 6 months at the moment. So hopefully by the time he hits year 10 he stopped growing and it will all be good. We'll see how we go though. So books and uniforms this week. Fortunately, Jasper's books, primary school, they all get delivered to the classroom. You don't need to cover anything, which I love, because I don't like covering books. Imogen covers her own books. She's left it late. She'll probably be out of contact plastic cover, so she'll be complaining, unless she's been and bought some. She may have been and bought some while she was at her dad's, I don't know. And I'm also planning on cooking up some meals to put in the freezer, just so that I've got things there. So when I come home at night, if I've been out or if I've been busy or if I've been to the gym or if I've done something, I can then just throw something in the microwave. A couple of other things. I was thinking that it would be nice to have an Ozzie Time VKN. So I was thinking perhaps Wednesday evenings, 7 or 7:30 my time, which is 8:30 Eastern summertime. We don't have summertime up here, and whatever other times it is around the country. I know it wouldn't fit in with US people. Those on the East Coast, I think it's still before 6 o'clock. But it might work with some European people who are home during the day. I know I got to join in with a BKN on Friday for MC Nick's podcast, which was 10 o'clock my time in the morning, which if I was working full time, I wouldn't be able to get to. So I don't know if it's something people are interested in. I'll put a thread up in the group. If it is, comment. If you're not, that's fine. No skin off my nose. The other thing is I will be looking at doing a knit along in March and April. So I'm going to give details of that from, I suppose, in February so that people can get involved. And I hope that people will, because it's something a little different. I'll leave that at that. I had a question this week through Ravelry, which I haven't replied to, and I'm quite remiss at doing it. I've marked it as unread in my inbox. Someone asking me how I put the podcast together. So I thought I'd give a very quick rundown of how I do it. I record on my computer, on my laptop, using the built-in webcam. I record on the iMovie, so I use a Mac. I think Windows has similar sort of programs. Once I have recorded, I piece it together. I don't do a lot of editing. I've never been trained in editing. I think if the kids come around and say, hey, they want to help me edit, I will not say no. I think that'll be great. I know Jasper probably will. He can definitely do it. I know he does it all the time at school and does it at drama as well, although they use Final Cut Pro, etc. But still, we'll see what happens in the future. Today, for instance, when I had the break, I'll have to go back and edit out a few seconds there. So I've worked out how to do that now, which is pretty funky. Once I have done that, I have the logo in the front, so that's installed first. Then I have to export from the Movie Maker into a format that is accessible on other devices. So that's the compression. So it compresses it. Last week, I think I found about the right balance with compression. I was pretty pleased with it. I think I compressed it for CD quality. I found the streaming quality was very pixelated. The one I did the week before, which I don't think I did full quality, whatever I did, it was overkill. So last week I compressed it to CD quality. For I think it was 40 minutes last week, the compression still took about an hour and a half. So that is one of the most time consuming things. Once it is compressed, you're able to share it. So I can share it either straight to YouTube, which is what I did for my 2 little clips for Girlfriend's Knitting. I just put them straight up into YouTube. I didn't actually share them with the public. I put them visible to those people who had the link, and then put the link in the Ravelry board where I was posting. I know some people still podcast that way, and that's fine. That's a really good way of podcasting. The only downside to that is that you can't include them on iTunes. Now, to have a podcast on iTunes means you can watch it on the go on the podcast programs. So either on Apple's podcast, I use Downcast. I tend to download most of the podcasts just so that if I am on the go, I can then watch them. Some I will stream. It depends. So to do that though, to have it up on iTunes, you need to have an RSS feed, which is, Google it. I can't explain it. I'm not that technical. I found a really, really good YouTube clip, which I will put in my show notes, because it just explained how to create an RSS feed without using Blip, because some people find that Blip can get confusing. I looked at it and said that I had to be judged, and I got a bit scared, so haven't done that yet. It's something I might do in the future. I'm not going to say no, but I found a way of doing it without having to go through putting my first few episodes up on YouTube. So what I did was I used WordPress for my blog, and I've always used WordPress. I love WordPress. I think it's really user-friendly, great interface, easy to use, easy to navigate. I installed a little add-on, or a little thingamajig in there called PodPress. Now, PodPress works within WordPress to upload your podcast to your post, and also sends it through to iTunes. It gives you an RSS feed. I then registered with iTunes. iTunes got back to me within a few days and said, yeah, go for it. Here you go. Here's your, it's up on the store. So that's why you can now get me through iTunes. Now, I know a couple of people are having trouble. I don't know why. I'm hoping now I've got the compression right, it might be better. Again, I'll look into that more this week if I've got time. So basically, that's how I do it. As this is compressing, I type up my show notes on WordPress, save them. Once it's compressed, that's the other thing. WordPress though, you can't install big files like this onto WordPress. So I had to find an external server to keep it. Now the YouTube clip that I found recommended Amazon, so I signed up for an Amazon S3 account. I have a free account at present. I'm not sure how long it will be free for. I'm not sure how much they're going to charge afterwards, but I figured to begin with, that's what I do. And if it does get too much, that's when I'll look into perhaps going across the Blip or going across somewhere else. I've got some other contacts who have, and not knitting podcasts, other podcasts, and see what they do and what they might be able to help me with. So that's probably it in a nutshell. I am about to reply to this email as well, as this is compressing, to show people how it's done. That's just how I do it. There are probably a gazillion ways of doing it. I think I'm all about encouraging the podcasters. It's good. I'm enjoying it. I really am. And I'm enjoying it for a way of being able to get in my mind how my knitting's going. So I can say, gee, these are long feet. And instead of just blurting about it on my Ravelry page, I can actually do it. And I can say, and it helps me set goals as well. You know, I was thinking, oh, well, I have a finished object. I need to knit a snuggle anyway. Let's knit a snuggle. There will be weeks where I probably won't have much knitting to show. It'll probably be a very brief podcast, and that'll be fine. I won't mind about that. But I hope I've got something to share each week. I think that's about it. This has probably gone on much longer than I anticipated. I am off to get myself some lunch as this compresses, and then I am going to get ready for my interview this evening. Wish me luck. Funny thing is that some of you are probably going to be watching this before it's before my time. So it's bizarre to think that I say it's now about 11:54 on Monday morning. Some of you might be watching this at 7 o'clock Monday morning. That's just freaky. Anyway, that's it. No more waffle. Until next week, till next Sunday, I will say uru. See you later. Bye.